Is it on?
It is on. I don't know why it's not flipping. It's supposed to flip.
I think if you just... That's okay.
You want to finish the sentence? If I just what?
I don't know what to do. Maybe it's the way the phone is positioned on the tripod there.
I doubt it.
Hold on, the truck in the back is telling me. It's, Alright, what you need to do is you need to flip the phone. Like, to where it's like still the same, but the cable's on the right side.
Really?
I don't know, I think so. Maybe.
Let me... Is that... Oh, 2 viewers, great.
See what I mean?
There we go.
Whoa. Everything flipped upside down and nothing fell. Gravity. This is the basement that gravity forgot. Welcome everyone to the
Basement Bookers Podcast.
What's up, Basement Bookiverse? Welcome to the monumental 500th episode of the Basement Bookers Podcast. I can't believe that we have done 500 of these. And first, on behalf of Basement Jared to my right over here, thank you for making it possible for all 500 of these episodes to happen. As you know, I am your Basement Champion, Rich the Riz, here with, as always, the brains behind this, the creativity behind the Basement Bookers Podcast, Basement Jared.
Who?
Thank you, Rich the Riz, for welcoming me to this podcast that we both happen to be a part of, the Basement Bookers Podcast. Can you hear me? Am I muted or something?
I hear you fine.
Excellent. I just had to check because it felt really weird. What with you opening for the first time in a long time. Only the really reals, Mannies of the world will know that. But this is, yes, as you said.
Get on with it.
And as it was said recently, this doesn't happen without you either. This also does not happen without professional wrestling. This podcast is a wrestling podcast. Two bros from other mo's, and we are together best friends forever. And we come here every week and we just shoot the shit. So if this is your first time and don't mind sometimes people saying shit, then this podcast is for you. And we welcome you in here with open arms to join the team. 35 subscribers. Thank you, one and all, for coming along. It's actually that's actually kind of a big deal. If you haven't already, please throw down a like over there and hit the subscribe. And that won't be happening again until the end. So don't worry. We'll pander at the end.
Yeah, real quick. We started the YouTube not very long ago, like within just a few months ago. So 35 in a few months, as opposed to 35 over 500 episodes. So
just so you guys make that clear in case you haven't ran away. But basically, we came to YouTube later because I figured out how to use video. So then we decided maybe it's time to do the YouTube. So yes, of course, the YouTube is fairly new. And of course, not all 500 episodes are on there. We're on all the podcast platforms, audioly. So, wherever you find them, you'll get that stuff at the end.
And speaking of video, the real OGs will remember our so much fun Periscope attempts.
Yeah, it was you probably shouldn't do things like that without equipment. Good equipment. I think the equipment we had was Apple adapter to the TV, and then we did it from there.
I don't even know what camera we used. Was it the iPhone, tablet?
It had to be the phone or something. But
it was a phone. I got the tripod with the little adapter.
Yeah, and we had to. Yeah, exactly. So, who knows? There might even be a small little clip from that here.
Oh, like a brick. What if you got a brick for your birthday?
Why would you get a fucking brick for your birthday?
I'm going to get you a brick for your birthday.
Don't get me a brick for my birthday. All right, we're off the rails.
We're never really on the rails.
We're talking about Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. Yeah, stop asking how you prepare for him.
Yeah.
Because you can ask the question as long as the other guy says you could find out by WWE Network or whatever. Put your
$9.99 a month.
Put your plug in there. Free for new subscribers.
First time ever get to Royal
We're
Rumble
totally
for
not
free.
sponsored.
Not.
Hey, let me ask you a question. WWE's supposed to be PG.
Mm-hmm.
You catch that Golden Globes? Dean Ambrose, if you're watching right now, you better watch your back. You better put two eyes in the back of your head, because I'm coming after you with a brick.
He survived fucking cinder blocks.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a real brick, not one of those sugar blocks. Like a real red brick from the third pig's house in a Three Little Pigs story, brother.
Probably some.
This big bad wolf is not gonna blow your house down. He's gonna brick your head in. With a brick.
You done?
Yes, right now I'm done.
So who knows what you will find when you watch the rest of this episode. You can stay
Oh,
tuned
dear.
for yeah, it's more embarrassing than it is for you. That it's more embarrassing for me than it is for you. So, yeah. Um, I can't. I forgot about the Periscope. It's one thing to do a live thing,
Mhm.
but recording we can do,
Mhm.
So now that we've got that out of the way, welcoming you all here. This week has been not the best week for a lot of people. Obviously, or if you have not been made aware, and this is your first time finding out, we're going to be not happy to, sadly, report facts. No one here, obviously, would ever celebrate, someone losing their job. We're not the type to say, that's fine. Such and such was overrated anyway. No, that's not here. We're simply reporting the facts, letting you know. We'll talk about it, and maybe speculate on what could be next for any one of these very talented people, because in order to make it to television as big as WWE, you had to have had something, be it big or small at the time or whatever. But I don't relish in that. All right, so we're gonna talk about releases now. Rich Perez here. We're just gonna go through. We're gonna just talk about it and see what's next. How we feel about them and all that stuff. So, Rich, why don't you go ahead and we'll go down there.
Yep. First on the list here was most recently reported by the Basic Bookers Podcast Facebook and Instagram accounts, Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I have a theory. Now you brought it to my attention, the legal issues or the issue he had at the airport recently that may or may not have uh,
JFK.
right, which may or may not have resulted from maybe too much of a substance beforehand.
CBD. Got it. Okay.
I mean, maybe that, but he could have been drunk. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe there was a flight delay. Oh, 2 more hours. All right, I'll just hang out at the bar, and bartender recognizes him. Hey, orange you in UFC. What are you doing now? Kind of thing.
Right.
Anyway, so I wonder if maybe as a result of that, which there were rumors that caused issues for him backstage, which understandably, if resulting from that, there was an offer made for him to go to rehab and he declined, and that became a, well, okay, what do we do about this now kind of situation.
Right.
So I'm certainly not saying I know that. Sources nowhere near the situation have even suggested that to me. But
That. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, that is the appropriate basement booker's answer to that, actually. Well, it's funny you should mention that, Rich Riz, but because I've been hearing, and of course we've heard, there's been many things on Riddle, to be honest. Like a lot of times we hear things, and I'm pretty sure it might have been one of those last straw type of things, especially when you don't want to really draw negative attention to your product
Mhm.
after the UFC, WWE TKO thing.
That
You
was
know what I
kind of a
mean?
big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of a big deal. I don't know if you heard
Hmm.
about it out there, guys, but yeah, it's one thing. And let's hear the opinion on one of Riddle's former bosses, one Dana White, and how he thinks of Riddle here. Okay.
The guy fights on prelims. does Matt Riddle sell any more tickets? Does he sell any more pay-per-views? The guy's fighting on the prelims, okay? He's fighting his way up to get the opportunity to possibly someday become a big star in the sport. Then he comes out and says, we treated him horrible. He was treated so horrible here. You were making $162,000 a year. He's making something like $52,000 or $54,000 a fight, and you fight 3 times a year, unless you get injured or something like that happens. We have health insurance here, which has never been done in the history of the world with fight promoters, okay? Now, the reason he's not in the UFC anymore is because he could not pass a drug test. The guy couldn't pass a drug test, okay? So he couldn't. And think about this. You have to go to work.
Just think about, okay, so already, you can't pass a drug test. So I'd imagine, even with the lax, whatever they got, the new thing, they still have a policy. And I don't think he's just doing that the stuff that's approved. You know what I mean? I actually don't even know if it is still. So
3 times a year, and you couldn't pass a drug test? You're so weak-minded and so addicted to marijuana that you couldn't stay off it enough to pass a drug test 3 times a year. Well, guess what, dummy? They drug test in the real world, too. You think you're going to go to work 325 days a year and not get drug tested? Right? He couldn't pass a drug test 3 times a year, but he's going to pass it in the real world. Right? And I want to know where this rocket scientist is going to go and make $100-something thousand a year. Right? And also, this is the guy, Matt Riddle, who did an interview and said, I smoke marijuana so I don't beat my wife and children.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. And I want to point out, MMA Junkie, the people that did this story took one side of the story, and they're writing this big story about a guy who said, I smoke marijuana so I don't beat my wife and kids, and only got his side of the story. Real journalism. Real journalism.
I think that explains perfectly what sort of kind of makes sense here. You know, I'm actually sad to see Riddle go, to leave. You know what I mean? And you know, I kind of understand, but like, if it was me and I had to pass a drug test like 3 times and I'm making that much money, I'm good. Yeah. Because that's what the time you're not working is for anyway.
You have that much money, you can afford to try the silly theories that are online. Like if you drink a whole bottle of vinegar beforehand, that you'll be fine.
Yeah, or just don't do it. Like just
I mean,
like at least for your fights. You know what I mean? Like, you know how I feel about it. Like, but that's the rules. If that's the rules, you got to follow the rules, right?
Right, but you got but like, so everything Dana White said is accurate.
Yeah.
One asterisk I want to put on that is when he talks about how much Riddle is making, it's hardly, when we talk about what fighters make within the UFC, it is hardly ever taken into consideration the amount that they have to put aside to pay their trainers. They have to pay their camp.
That costs a lot.
That does cost a lot. That could be like more than half of his income. So like so it's so weird because like you're training all year. If you have only 2 fights a year, I don't know. It's the math works out weird. Like if you have only 2 fights a year, you can have more money than if you have 3 fights a year, because how much you got to pay your camp and everything.
Okay.
It's like so much to pay to your trainers. Like if you're renting a facility, if you're renting out a gym, if you own a gym, there's property tax on that. There's a lot of unsaid stuff in that, like 150 grand. We live in Brooklyn, right? This is not a brag here, but like with OT and everything, like I make 100 and I'm like getting by. Like I'm not living a lavish lifestyle. But like,
you don't use the yacht anymore anyway. You had to sell it.
Yeah, right.
You had to sell it when Global Championship Wrestling folded. You know, it was a whole thing.
It was a tough time. Tough times. Anyway, so that's the Matt Riddle thing. I think I've said all I have to say about that, unless you have some more to add.
No, just that I hope that we don't hear anything bad about him. You
Yeah.
know, that's all. Like
Mhm.
it's you don't even regardless of what Dana White said. Like you don't know him anyway. Like we don't know that. We don't know. We're not in there. Like I don't know. To me, I think Riddle seems chill, but I don't know him in his personal life. So
I just remembered something.
yeah, what's up?
He just got out of rehab.
That's right. So that's that's it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that could have been like, wait, hold
That
on,
had to
okay,
be it.
that's yeah, it's too close together.
Like they can't keep him
Hmm.
after firing Jeff. Like wasn't it like a similar situation? Like except Jeff didn't want to go to rehab. They wanted him to go to rehab,
Yeah,
but
they
he
want
didn't.
him to go to rehab. Meanwhile, wasn't he like half concussed?
I don't even know. Let's not talk about Jeff Hardy. That's a whole bag of
That
worms.
was that was a, that specific situation was a weird one though.
Yeah, it was. It was. Regards to Riddle though, if he shows up in AEW, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think maybe he needs some time to himself to figure stuff out first and then do whatever you want.
Yeah, in literal terms, please, best of luck in your future endeavors.
Indeed. Rich the Riz, who is the next person to speak of today?
Next up is just as surprising, former world champion Dolph Ziggler.
This hurt a little bit because sometimes you'll sit and we'll message each other and then we'll be like, what's Dolph Ziggler doing? And then Dolph Ziggler shows up and puts somebody over. It's like summoning him from
Hmm.
the ether into the ring. Um, and then like he's released, and he hasn't been on TV in some time.
Hmm.
I think the last time we saw him, whatever, I think he was like in a tag team or something, or he wrestled or something. I don't know. It's been a long time since we've seen him, but it was definitely doing the honors. He might have been involved in a carrying cross thing. Just it's before they split the roster and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
um, but either way, if he's into stand up comedy, like he's done stand up and stuff like that, Dolph Ziggler could do TV. He could do really anything he really wants to do.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's like, I know everybody keeps saying AEW, AEW. In regards to him, he might like try it. Like, you know how sometimes they'll have a guy come in. You know how like Zack Ryder came in
Hmm.
for and he did like a couple of things or whatever. Like
The
Dolph
one
could do that.
episode. Hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to sign. You can just do whatever.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know because Xavier Woods had posted that Ziggler taught him to have something else he's passionate about outside the business.
Hmm.
So maybe he's going to go pursue that instead. So, in my opinion, I think we're likely to see him doing something that's not wrestling
Hmm.
than actually wrestling, at least in the near future. Like maybe down the line in a couple of years, maybe see him on AEW if there's an AEW. You know,
Yeah, given that these were all releases, the 90-day no compete doesn't apply, right?
I don't know. I probably should have looked that up, but
Mm.
we could just use whatever we want here. I
Correct.
yeah,
Um, so I wonder if, because obviously that advice from Dolph to Xavier Woods is just it's great advice overall, and it applies overall. But I wonder if specifically that would mean like for when you're injured, right? Because like they say, like if you're a wrestler and like that's all you do, that's all you know, someone crazy like Brian Danielson or whatever, like when you're injured and you can't be out there and wrestle, or Adam Cole when he didn't know if he'd be able to wrestle again, like if that's
yeah.
all you're into and all that you're passionate about, it's just going to eat you up if you can't use your creativity and your mental energy doing something else. So I wonder if that was like advice for like when you're injured or for when the company doesn't have anything for you but you're still on the payroll, like a
Mhm.
lot of the names on this list here, you know, so that they can keep them like if you go weeks and weeks and weeks without being on TV, without even getting a non-televised match or anything like that, just to keep your brain occupied doing something else so you don't get depressed about not being used and frustrated and just grr, you know?
Yeah, I thought of it like that, and having something to fall back on in case things don't work out,
Hmm.
and that, and like the lame way, which probably be cringe to people how I'm going to say this, but I do this sometimes, that like professional wrestling, like if you put all your eggs in one basket, it can break your heart. Like you don't know if you go out there and like you were talking about, you could get hurt and you could never wrestle again. You
Yeah,
could be in a standard TV match against, I don't know, a Ridge Holland, and you know what happened to Big E. You know what I
right.
mean? That could happen to anyone. So I think that's also another thing. You know, it's good to have something to fall back on.
Hmm.
And like then, and if you're not doing well in wrestling because you have something else that you're passionate about, it's like I got this. You know, wrestling isn't everything. It's not my whole life, kind of
Yeah,
thing. I don't know. I've never took a bump. I'm not a professional wrestler. If you're a professional wrestler, you got to, you know, different whatever opinion. Feel free comment below, and if we get to it, we will reply to you. Uh,
yeah. Don't make it so that if the worst case scenario happens, you don't ever have to ask yourself, "Shit, what do I have to live for?"
what do I got to do?
Right?
Yeah,
Like have something else.
true that. So, all right, let's bring everything up. What do you think Zigzag Man's gonna do? Are you on? You agree, or because I don't
So
you got
I could 100% see him going to AEW. I feel like Tony Khan knows how damn good Dolph Ziggler is. I wonder though, because you know
mm,
Dolph did have he had a long career. He had over 1,500 matches in WWE, second only to Kane, as I understand it, who had
that's
1,800
yeah.
something.
Oof. And Kane's
I
been
don't.
there a long time.
Yeah. So I wonder if he was there so long and has done so much, former world champ, former multi-time intercontinental champ, the list goes on. If he said, you know what, I don't have to be on TV so much. Let me just be around here to practice, show the newcomers some stuff. Even after they come up from NXT, they still don't know everything, and to sort of be a coach. Like we don't know that that wasn't the case. So if he were to go to AEW, we don't know if it would that would still be the case. Kind of like with Christopher Daniels and Sanjay Dutt, a bunch of other guys that like are over there, and it's like, wait, where are they? Like Serena Deeb, her first months or year or two there that we didn't see her or see her like once or twice. Sarah
Yeah,
Amato,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, what's the name? Leva Bates.
Blue
You know,
pants.
just yeah, just like doing other stuff behind the scenes because you're happy with what you've done in your career and you want to give back.
Right. I say just bring him in like a
Mhm.
surprise and have him beat Ray Phoenix for the international championship. Just shock him
Yeah.
off. Do an open challenge, just have him come out there, beat him, and then like you know, kind of like how he showed up on NXT, he took the championship from Braun Breaker, you
Yep.
know, and then helped him out. Now, I'm not saying Phoenix needs help. I'm saying like whatever. It'll be something fun at least for a
Hmm.
little bit. It's like no one's really expecting that or whatever, or maybe they are. I don't know.
Right. We're gonna get into that later on.
That's right, Rich. What's going? Who was next? Unfortunately, parted ways. Future endeavored this past week.
This next one has like never reached his true potential, and I am greatly looking forward to what he does next. Mustafa Ali.
Yep. That one also was upsetting. Not so much upsetting, but like, no, like I was mixed because it's like, wait a second, that means he can go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that means there's an opportunity here, to capitalize if someone's smart enough, because he's got everything pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a good look. He can
Mm-hmm.
move.
Yep.
He can talk. A great addition to any roster. While I was looking forward to his match against Dominic Mysterio, which he's probably going to put Dominic over anyway, I think there's really you can only take the lemon and make lemonade. Otherwise, you throw the fresh lemon in the garbage because you're not happy with how you got it.
Mhm.
So he's someone that I would never ever say was like overrated or a waste or anything stupid like that. I say someone who was underutilized, and there was a time he should have won the elimination chamber. Uh, I think it was like a couple of years ago. He was doing stellar. There was a
Mhm.
time where he could have been the man. I
Yeah.
feel like it
That
was
was
on the way.
that was did he get hurt and that was what led to Kofi Mania? Was that it?
I think so. Sources nowhere near the situation have confirmed or denied this, especially PD at the bodega. He won't. So we'll just forget about that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so that's I really hope that somebody picks him up. Like of everyone on here, Tony Khan would be an idiot.
Yeah.
Like I know, like I said, it's always like AEW. No, it's not the only place. Like I'm
It's
being
just the biggest
selfish.
place. Within the US, it's the biggest place.
It's
That's not
just that,
WWE.
yeah, it's TV I could easily find and is already part of my rotation. So I'm being
Mhm.
selfish.
Yeah, same.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see if he's like wrestling around the world, pulling a Cody,
Mhm.
and then winding up somewhere. And who knows? Might just come home again, after getting all the experience points.
Yep.
So
I think it was Xavier Woods that tweeted, and I liked uh, that he can't wait to see what the unfiltered creativity of Adil Alam can show us. And
yeah,
I am
just
looking forward to it. Tony Khan, if you sign him, first of all, please sign him. Second of all, let him loose.
just do
Please.
it. Just do it. It's
Yes.
easy. It's easy money.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
He's a positive guy. Like you could do anything. He could be a heel. He could be a face. Whatever.
Those on the streets of Chicago vignettes were all written and produced by him himself.
Yeah, I believe it.
And they were fantastic. Like even just the stuff that he did on like he was promoting on Twitter when he had nothing to do on TV. He was on Twitter just doing these vignettes for himself to get attention. Like this dude scratched and clawed for every morsel he was given and he did his best to make each of those morsels into a 5-course meal.
Yeah, I like positively Ali. You know,
Uh, Positive Ali was fantastic. The like we shit on Retribution all the time, but not a one of them tried as hard to make it work with all of themselves as much as Mustafa Ali did.
yeah,
He
like
tried to
once,
explain
yeah,
he tried to explain away the masks. He tried to explain the shitty, shitty, shitty names. It would like he was literally getting blood from the stone.
yeah, yep. That's what you got to do. And he kept it all. He kept pushing, and then they just kept squashing him, man. Like they didn't let him get any momentum, man. Bobby Lashley was like destroying that guy. I thought like I was getting flashbacks to those Seth Rollins United States Championship run.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, let's go on to the next. We could talk about a whole episode could just be about Ali. We're big fans, but we can't be greedy. With episode 500 dedicated to one man,
All
a
right.
great man.
Next up, potentially two men, Elias.
Uh, look, I don't want to break bad news to anybody, but Elias is saying that like he doesn't have a brother that looks like him. He's saying that it was a storyline.
No.
And he's fake news. Like, why would you say things like that?
It's
You can go
sad.
first.
It's sad following a release that someone just says something so ridiculous just to try and stay relevant.
I don't like being gaslit by Elias, honestly. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, I thought he learned his lesson after Kevin Owens, but here we are again. Here we are again. Like, what are we doing here? I don't know what he's gonna do next. Probably like a music career. I'm thinking Grammys.
Mm.
I'm thinking a collaboration with Jay-Z. You know,
Mhm.
I'm thinking like a Taylor Swift type concert tour, all
That would
over
be huge.
America.
Mhm.
Walk with FKA Elias, you
Mhm.
know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Elias.
#1 album on iTunes.
That's right. Or he could maybe go on the road with our next gentleman that I'm going to just throw in there because it's related musically.
Mhm.
Rick Boogs is also no longer with the WWE. A lot of energy. I'm really surprised they didn't really do like an Elias Rick Boogs like tag team, being the opposites. Like you could have Elias be like Elias, like the heel version that he was kinda, and like Rick Boogs with all that energy. That could have been something they could jam together. You
Yeah, you
know,
could have like the wandering, the traveling acoustic guitarist versus the main stage act of the electric guitar of Rick Boogs.
yes, the instruments themselves represent the personalities
Mhm.
as well. So it's who knows? Maybe they'll just be like, "Hey, man, AEW, bro, we'll go together." You know, or New Japan, whatever. Actually, you know what? If they went to New Japan with those gimmicks, they would get over. They would get
100%.
over. They love that stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it could work.
Like, what if they're introduced as like playing someone out to the ring, and like after that person wins their match, they attack them.
I'd be down with that. Just get the acoustic over the head
Mhm.
type deal and just have Rick Boogs it out. You know,
Yup,
he's a
that
big
that
guy.
that kind of thing also gets over really well in Japan.
That's another guy. Yeah, and even like just his physique alone, Rick Boogs, you know,
Mhm.
and it comes to talking, I'll go with Elias. So they have, you know, like
Mhm.
Boogs is not a bad talker. I'm just saying I prefer Elias over Boogs.
We also didn't get to see Boogs just talk a lot.
Oh
Like
yeah, he's
he,
more or less like a shouty guy, but I've
yeah,
heard him
he.
on After the Bell with Corey Graves,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's about it.
Mhm.
So I know he can talk like a person.
Mhm.
So, but he's hyper, like that's just his personality.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, was that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up is a man that I have always said they never did right by him. They
Shelton
never.
Benjamin, you knew it.
And
Hashtag
this,
justice for Shelton.
yeah, seriously, like, how do you not have something for Shelton Benjamin? He dude is so incredibly talented. He was on the Raw intro video literally forever, right? With the
Yeah.
run in the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. He had the highlight moment of the first Money in the Bank ladder match. Like, you kind of have to think for a second, wait, who even won that match before you remember that it was Edge? But you remember Shelton running up the ladder because that was that damn incredible. His mic work improved a lot over the years. It took him some time to get comfortable within his own skin on the microphone, but he proved that he could hang. Not
Remember when
great.
he was the gold standard?
Gold, yeah, the gold standard. Let's forget the mama thing, right?
It happened,
It
but he did
happened.
what he could.
Yeah, like they sometimes they give you shit and they try to see if you can whatever. That was shit. But he
Well,
survived it.
yeah,
He
yeah. I
survived it.
mean,
Lashley survived a similar gimmick, but we're not talking about Lashley right now. I'm talking about Shelton Benjamin.
yeah. We're not
That's
talking
so
about
weird.
the sisters,
Yeah,
Lashley sisters.
the Lashley sisters. That was it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shelton Benjamin, multi-time Intercontinental Champion, the only man to have beaten every single member of Evolution in singles matches.
A capital A athlete. That is a true fact. What you just said, also.
So, in particular, Shelton Benjamin, I hope you go to AEW. I would love to, like, this is marquee match for me, right? We haven't
Okay.
talked about it yet, but like Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., like my money for the pay-per-view for that. Like, if that
Okay.
was the
Yeah.
only match, if that was the only match on the card, I'm buying that card.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Same level, Shelton Benjamin versus Claudio Castagnoli.
Okay. What about Shelton Benjamin versus Kenny Omega? Let's
Also
not
fantastic. I
let's not
like
f around.
right. I like Claudio's in-ring style better.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like I like
Oh yeah, if it'd probably be a styles clash between
exactly
Benjamin and
like they say, styles make fights, and the between style and physique, I feel like Shelton and Claudio would have magic in that ring.
sure, sure. I think,
Magic.
yeah, I think of the two though, Shelton's more quicker. I think he's
Absolutely.
quicker.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, yeah. No, that's good. I, 'cause I'm trying to look, and I'm thinking about the wrestlers on AEW, and like, it's not nothing against them, but I don't feel like there's a lot that's on the level of Shelton Benjamin,
Hmm.
of a Shelton Benjamin, like the Brian Danielsons of the world. That's like a rare thing down there.
Yeah, we're talking like top percent.
Yeah. Um. So I'm like, what, never a Brock Lesnar program. Are you kidding me? You couldn't do like a one-off program with Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar,
Dude,
like
if
those two wrestling. Like you could have the story where like Brock hasn't wrestled in
hmm
a long time. He's done UFC and all that stuff, and like because maybe some there's just something like Shelton. You could make it like Shelton's always had Brock's number
hmm
back in like the school days or something. You just make something up. Just make it up. I don't care. And like and now like it's like, oh, Shelton can like run circles around Brock or something, and Brock has to like overcome him trying to wrestle F him into the ground. You know what I mean?
scenario,
Sure.
you got Gable Steveson,
Oh,
so wait,
forgot about him.
forget Chad Gable. Let's say Chad Gable, right? Chad Gable's
Yes.
out in the ring, like he's touting all his accomplishments, saying he wants another match with Gunter. Brock comes out, destroys him, tosses him around like nothing. Tosses
Okay. Yeah.
Otis, tosses Otis, looks at Maxine. She runs to the back. Brock's like, I want a challenge. Tell you what, let's not make it a pro wrestling match. Let's make it an amateur wrestling match. Anyone in the back, come out and face me. And it's Shelton.
All right. Yeah, that could be great. And then it's a shock because like Shelton's like really not doing anything. He's like been like, everybody knows who's watching TV what he's doing. Okay, so Brock is gonna just crush Shelton, and then you could do like this upset, like he's really not as good as he is anymore, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that
Brock's upset from losing 2-1 to Cody.
yeah, that's that's it. And then yeah, you could have done that, but we'll always have the Basement Bookers podcast.
If I had $1 for just the talent that we've spoken about so far, and we still have a long list to go.
We
If I had a
do.
dollar for all the missed opportunities, all of the golden scenarios that for the people we just talked about, like we'd be rich.
You'd always be rich,
True.
but yes, we would be quite wealthy.
Right. Correct.
All right. Who we got next there?
Next, I gotta do this slightly out of order. I'm gonna move this just so for my own sanity here, for my own OCD.
All
Just
right.
literally immediately after
Oh, Emma.
announcing a pay-per-view in Australia. The first time they're even going to Australia in 6 years, let alone having a premium live event
Six
emanate from
o'clock in
there.
the morning.
Is that the time that's going to be on?
Yes. For us. Freaking
Anyway,
Australia.
it like maybe give her the call before you announce that, right?
Oh.
So that rather than announcing it, she retweets it all happy and then gets a phone call that she's not going to be there because she just lost her job.
I feel like this business, like those people like that are making these decisions,
Mm-hmm.
they might not see a person, but a name and numbers next to the name and like a minus in their mind off their bottom line
Mm-hmm.
and how the talent is being currently utilized.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
they probably don't know.
so here's the thing, right? Emma, she had her great run in NXT.
Mm.
They brought her up to the main roster with this bubbly gimmick, right? That thing? Remember
The
that thing?
dance. The
Yeah.
dance.
A little silly, but she had time to get over. The crowd was digging the dance, and then, I don't remember what happened. They probably didn't have anything for her. She got released. She toured the world. She did her thing, right? Triple H takes over, rehires her. Vince takes over again. She's nowhere to be found. And then she's paired up with her real life boyfriend, I think fiance at this point, right?
You forgot about Emelina. There was like this whole like vignette thing, and she was supposed to be Emelina, and then she's like not comfortable with it, and then they scrap it, and I think they gave it to someone else. They gave it to somebody else to try to do.
It was
eh,
Carmella.
Maybe, but yeah,
Carmella with Reggie.
right. That's right. That's exactly right.
So, like, I didn't. That works against her because they're ultimately what it is we're giving you an opportunity, and you're so adamant about not doing it that they scrap it.
Yeah. It's like,
That's
well, we had something for you.
right to me. Like, especially with all these people that got released that just they got released just because creative doesn't have anything for them. That's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
That's unprofessional. So
Yeah.
I get that. I didn't want to focus on that. I want to
Hmm.
focus on the fact that creative that tried a thing and then they painted her into a corner with her fiance, and so they're both released. By the way, Riddick Moss also released.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that, like when they announced her, I'm like, oh no, is this like a multiple thing? If it's a multiple thing, then Riddick has got to be down there somewhere.
Yeah,
We haven't seen him in a while. Once the Happy Corbin thing was over, like he did pretty good, but then it's like they gave up,
they
and I don't know
tried
why.
once.
No, I know, but that's what I mean. And then they gave up.
Yeah,
I think it was supposed to be like a carrying cross uh thing with carrying cross and Scarlet and Moss and Emma and
like
but then
carrying.
AJ and
Yeah, carrying Cross shouldn't be feuding with Riddick Moss unless
no,
Riddick Moss was higher on the card.
yeah, but unfortunately with carrying cross, like we'll see what happens. But I'm like, I don't know. I was shocked that he wasn't on there. I thought he would be like a shock to everybody else kind of thing on there, and I don't want him to be. I'm just saying, with not really seeing him outside of him, he put like a Twitter post of John Cena's entrance with the carrying cross filter, as I'd like to call it,
Mm,
and people are like, oh, is he after John Cena? It's like no, no, because they're not going to use John Cena with carrying cross. I keep telling you, if you keep beating your John Cena, you're going to chap your John Cena, and it's not going to matter anymore. You can't get anything out of him. You got to let it rest.
that is a
It's a good metaphor. I hear you.
a painfully, grotesquely accurate metaphor.
That's right. But yeah, either one of them, both of them probably together. If we saw them in AEW, I'd be like, all right, fine. Impact. Let's not forget about Impact Wrestling.
Killer
That could be a.
Cross was literally the man in Impact.
That's right. But of course, I'm referring to Riddick Moss. And
Oh,
Riddick Moss, he could make a name for himself in Impact. He could make an impact there. He's big. Bring the girl in. She's got history there. Let's, fine. Not everybody's got to, be in the same place.
hmm
Is NWA still around? They're still around. You could go over there and do the thing.
doing
Good
something.
talent.
Next up, another opportunity missed. Aaliyah. Now, I'm going to clarify my statement. They obviously set her up for something.
Well, I mean,
What
she does
was
hold the Guinness Book World Record, right?
right? What was supposed to happen after that, or what they could have done after that? What they could have done was anything. What they did was nothing.
I think that's like the usual, like the bad thing that happens to someone. It's like, all right. Well, I think she got hurt also. That might have done it too. Um, Usually when I ask where she is, you're like, yeah, she's hurt or something. So,
Yeah. Like
um,
like fine, but you gave her a world record win over a future Hall of Famer. After the injury, do something with it.
yeah.
Put up like literally take the idea on a post-it, put it on the corkboard, put a pin in it. Just come back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. Like you have a women's division that it's really a lot of the same matchups,
Mhm.
and you got these tag team championships, that whole division. We finally figured out it was Isla Dawn and Alba Fire that cursed the championships, or strengthened the curse that was already there. We don't have any clarification yet.
So what I like is that they're making a storyline out of an unfortunate situation that like people that hold these titles keep getting hurt or whatever it is. So
Yeah, it's been working
yes,
overtime recently, so
yeah.
maybe.
So that's a positive. Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, obviously this puts them in line for being in the conversation for the women's tag titles.
Right, you are, Rich Derez. Right,
But
you are.
back to Aaliyah. How many women of Middle Eastern descent are on the roster?
Don't know. I
Right?
only see wrestlers. You know.
Right. So the answer is none. Now,
Okay.
like this, like yes, she's Canadian, but she's also of Middle Eastern descent. Where I don't
Right.
know. I don't know offhand.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to look it up. But use it, man.
Yeah. I mean, she'll be fine. I'm sure.
Mm.
I know you're very upset and saddened by that. What happened there. But you're gonna be okay. And I think she's gonna be fine as
You know
long
who
as
else is going to
she's.
be okay? Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was going to use that
please.
transition. Well, you know
No,
who else is going
perfect.
to be okay? Top dollar, AJ Francis. If he decides to continue his wrestling career, I could easily see him getting a good word from Swerve.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. As long as he's not doing dives, or you don't have to. You know what I mean? You don't have to do those things.
If Michael Cole is making fun of you, there's probably a reason.
It's probably a reason. You should probably just, like, you're a big thick man.
Hmm.
Be a big thick man. Just bill him as Swerve's, like, the really real right hand man.
Hmm.
Because he had those other guys, and Brock Lesnar Light and the other one, and they're gone, I think. And he got those big hairy monster men
Hmm.
with him and stuff. But like Top Dollar, him, they go a ways,
Hmm.
and then let them, whatever. That's a spot.
A little surprised that Ashanti and BFAB weren't on the list also, but maybe they'll do something with them.
Sometimes things comes in waves, so hopefully that's not the case. And I mean, with BFAB, I think she could just be in the women's division. Let's see what she could do there. Like, she doesn't
Yeah.
have to be paired with this guy.
So, which
Um,
reminds me, real quick,
yeah.
someone posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, uh, the photos of every female on the main roster currently after the releases. Take a guess at how many there are.
16. All right.
You want to take another guess? It's higher.
27.
36.
I was gonna say 37 after that. All right, good. 36. That's not good to me.
36 women on the main roster. How many do we see a week? 8?
Uh,
10?
Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Io Sky,
Mm-hmm.
Bailey, Dakota Kai, Natty. I think Dewdrop or Piper Niven she's there.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea Green, but she might be hurt, or she's fine. I don't know. Um, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark. Uh, did I mention Bianca Belair, who's technically off right now? She's
Nope, that's 12.
okay. More importantly, Bianca Belair, she's like really great. Rhea Ripley, obviously the world heavyweight women's champion.
Mm-hmm.
Mia Yim is there, but she's not really wrestling a lot.
Right. Now
Just being useless on the OC.
she's in a guy's storyline.
So's Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley is in a lot of storylines.
Yeah, but mainly guy's storyline. It wasn't until Nia Jax. You could add that. Or did I mention that one?
No, you didn't have to.
And Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, whatever. And Liv Morgan, who's hurt. Um, I think that's all I can really think of right now. If I missed anybody, I'm really sorry. Did I not mention Becky Lynch?
You
I
did.
mean,
She
okay,
was
so I
first.
would never forget her. So yeah,
You named her
I don't
before
know.
both champs. But my point is, like, you have a large roster. You have all these hours to do something with them. Do something with them.
Yeah, you could mix and match. You got tag team division. You can make tag teams, more tag teams.
Hmm.
Um, you
Whatever.
don't need a mid card championship. I don't care what anybody says. All right, who's next?
Correct. I mean, on topic, Dana Brooke.
That's right. Dana Brooke, like I said, while it's unfortunate, and I think she's really nice, and a lot of people sometimes they say mean things when they
Hmm.
shouldn't.
Hmm.
Um, I think she's, I thought it was going to come up. I had a feeling. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? There's but so much you could do on NXT, and they're probably trying to like keep the newer people they're trying to build up. So it's like, you got to make choices, I guess, and it's a business and it's
But
hard.
what better way to build up like an entirely new roster than to have a veteran down there to put them over and occasionally beat them? She was in a
Right.
storyline where she was tutoring this Kalani Jordan.
Hmm.
Like she was showing like a new side of her character, was a little heelish. I feel like there was a lot of opportunity. This is so much missed opportunity on this list, but there was a lot of opportunity there because like her and Jordan both have the gymnastics background. So obviously Dana Brooke was the most logical choice to say, okay, so this is what we did there, and this is what we do here. This is how you get from there to here. This is how you take those skills and maximize them here. Like obviously that's something that was happening behind the scenes, but do it on camera as part of the story because it just makes sense.
Yeah. Um, like I hear that and I understand it, but what you could do since it already happened and we can't bring her back because we have like literally no power, um, you can always send someone else.
Yeah,
There's other women on the roster that could do that job.
it's
So,
true.
and it's sad, it sucks,
Hmm.
but you know what? I believe in her. I think she'll find something that she'll like. She'll get a job somewhere else.
Hmm.
And show what she can do there. So, let's go in. Let's move along here. We're already an hour into releases here almost. So,
Yeah, next up, two very close to your heart, one of them at least, Marseille and Mansoir.
I'm gonna be brief because a lot of people know that if we'd have to do a whole episode on Mansoor,
Hmm.
they never really capitalized on Mansoor. I feel like they should have had done a storyline. There was something where they was doing something with like Mansoor and Ali for a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
just
and
before the positive Ali thing.
I think there something there wasn't tapped. There, that's another thing. Marseille, Mace, whatever you want to call him,
Hmm.
great dude, good look, big. He can, if they do together and go out there do indies and whatnot, like
Hmm.
fine, have fun, have at it. I saw some Twitter stuff. They want to do like a Reservoir Dogs gimmick or Pulp Fiction type thing, and like being like fixers for
Hmm.
like say the Miz, because it sounds like the Miz would have something like that, where like a ref kind of
Hmm.
didn't do the right thing or whatever, and they got to go and fix it for him or whatever. Um,
Like that.
yeah, like
Okay.
exactly like that. Yeah.
So Mace is
So
the heavy and Mansoor is the talker.
yeah, but also he's probably crazy. That's what I would do. Like you don't want to be alone with him. You don't want to be tied to a chair with him in a room with you alone. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like he looks like he's low key, like he's just talking. He's like super friendly,
Hmm.
but then it's time to like, doing Reservoir Dogs where like the dude just like it's that song stuck in the middle with you and he's just cutting off pieces of your ear or whatever. Like you remember that movie, Reservoir Dogs.
Saw it the one time. I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's a good
All
movie.
right. Yeah, yeah. But mhm.
Moving on from them is the last main roster
Right.
name that we are going to list. Shanky.
What could I say? Good guy. I really did. He really wasn't doing much. Yeah. Jinder wasn't doing anything. They were usually together. It's I would put him in the same category as Dabakato. It's like nothing was really happening.
Hmm.
And it sucks, but
Next up, Quincy Elliott from NXT.
look, he had that one spot on Halloween Havoc. He got to be so much closer to Shotzi than any man should be lucky to be.
Hmm.
And that was pretty much it for him. Um, I don't know. I've heard stories. No sources nowhere near close or around the situation, and I can't confirm or deny Pablo's involvement in that. I don't know. He's just the guy that delivers the milk to the store. You know.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm, interesting. I think I'm reading between your lines there.
that's cool.
Next up, women's division from NXT, mentioned earlier, Yulisa Leon.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you a match.
She was in the tag team with bad with names.
Oh, man, what a contest. Let's not be disrespectful here.
Valentina Feroz. That's
There
it.
you go. I just don't know. I just
Yeah.
don't know. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, the two of them together didn't have much of a gimmick. Then they started letting them talk, and that wasn't working as well as they had hoped. I'm guessing. I guess they like Valentina Feroz more because she's still there and Yulisa is not.
I guess so. I guess so.
It's my expert analysis.
That sounds
Next,
like it.
yep. Next up, recently mentioned by Basement Jer a whole moment and change ago. Dabakato, formerly known as Babatunde, formerly known as Commander, whatever, Aziz.
Aziz for Apollo when he was the king of
Apollo!
Nigeria
A great gimmick.
and had an accent and everything. Like he popped
Yeah.
in Black Panther. He started like realigning his accent there.
Hmm.
It happens sometimes. You watch something a bunch of times, or you play like a video game, like I've done. Like when I was playing Red Dead Redemption, I couldn't stop sounding like a cowboy. It was amazing.
Yep.
Like, yeah, and that was
Hmm.
fun. So
But I mean, Dabakato's a big dude. He obviously now has the training and everything. He's got a lot of experience under him. I mean, I think TK would be stupid to not give him a call.
that's right. All right, let's shotgun the rest of this.
There's
Um,
one left.
oh, okay. I wish I came up with this
Hold
idea
on to your
before.
pants. There's one left. Or should I say, hold on to your jacket, because it's your boy, Jacket Time himself, Ikemenjiro.
Look, there's no more jacket time. It's over. I think he'll be fine. Um, he could write a book. He could be like, if this jacket could talk, or Jack, and then space space off time.
Hmm.
Or just any three-letter place would be happy to have him. And I'm actually interested to see what he could do that's not NXT'd. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I don't think he came in there as jacket time. I don't think when he's like, listen, I got an idea
I checked his Wikipedia. That was his gimmick.
before he came in.
Yep.
All right, never
So
mind.
Ikemen's style is something like that, where you're a pretty boy, which
Oh,
is
got
interesting
it. So he's
because
Pretty Boy Jiro.
yeah.
Okay.
So, which is interesting because I don't remember, there was another guy who had sort of a pretty boy gimmick, but he wasn't. He also wasn't really a pretty boy in NXT. Oh shit.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Hmm.
I don't know his name though.
Kona Reeves.
Exactly. So
Oh,
the sadder news is that the WrestleVotes Twitter account says they expect more releases to be announced this weekend.
we promised to put it up somewhere. So probably Basement Booker's Facebook or yeah, probably the Facebook I put the releases on. I don't know what to
Yeah.
do anymore.
One of us in the other screen is going to be the one posting all that stuff.
Damn it. All right, great. So, Rich the Riz, now that we're done being depressed, I had thought of what, well, I didn't think of it. It was actually the current AEW World Champion MJF was asked to create the perfect pro wrestler. There were three ingredients that he decided to build upon. It was look, in which he chose Triple H. Promo ability, he chose Roddy Piper, and of course for in-ring ability, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels himself. We're gonna do something like that, and before we go into ours, if you want to put in the comments below what you would put, that's perfect. And the added bonus we're gonna do is finisher. So you could take a finisher, and what would you want their finisher to be? We decided to go one male, one female each. Rich, did you want to start with your male wrestler creation, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll do girls. Is that good?
Absolutely. All right. So to build my perfect wrestler from the ground up, as a whole, I was trying to take in things I like in wrestling, and I wanted sort of a holistic approach. I wanted a full picture kind of thing. Okay. So starting with look, you cannot beat the look of the alpha male of the species himself. Damn it. There we go. Brock Lesnar.
I knew it. I
Because
knew it.
why would you not want a wrestler that you're building to be that intimidating?
Yeah, that's true. Very
Okay?
scary haircut as well.
Scary dude. He's just like McAfee said it best, the alpha male of the species. Okay? So that's look. Next, I was thinking about mic work. And when I'm thinking about mic work, again, thinking holistically, big picture kind of thing, you want someone that is versatile enough to do anything on the mic, have anything they say be believable, regardless what gimmick it is, what it is they're doing, what they're saying or not saying. And that can only be Chris Jericho. Because,
Wow.
I mean, if his longevity in wrestling in general, think about that, like from WCW, WWE, now AEW. How many times has this man reinvented himself? And every single time, his mic work is on point. Every time,
Yeah, yeah,
period.
that's true.
And then, as far as in ring ability, again, looking at whole nine, the well rounded, someone that can wrestle any style and make it work is none other than my favorite of all time, Eddie Guerrero.
Wow, that's a really good wrestler there you got.
Okay,
Yeah,
now I mean we seen in WCW and we saw in WWE he could mat wrestle, he could high fly, dude could do it all. And then for the bonus points here, you said pick a finisher, and I'm like, I don't have any images for that, but you said don't worry about images. We'll
yeah.
talk about it. Okay.
Everybody knows what the move is.
What better finisher would there be for someone that looks like Brock Lesnar and can move like Eddie Guerrero?
Is it a shooting star press?
No.
Oh,
Then an F5.
of
Why
course.
why fix what's not broken? You look like Brock Lesnar. You obviously have the power of Brock Lesnar. We know Eddie was powerful also. Particularly, I'm thinking in his prime, Eddie Guerrero, and when I say in his prime, I mean when he was healthy and sober in WWE.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude was jacked and it was natural and he was healthy. F5. Devastating. That is my build a wrestler.
What a scary individual you've crafted with your imagination, Rich Torres.
Thank you.
I find it very difficult to compete with that. However, I will make an attempt. It's
All
not a
right.
competition, it's about what you think. And
Mhm.
you probably have guessed already what well, let me add mine.
Yeah.
All right. So you probably wondering, you probably know because we know each other so well. I really called it though that you were gonna pick Brock. Like I knew it
Mhm.
because. All right. So actually, hold on a second. I don't remember what was next. All right. So on mine, I started with in ring ability. Okay.
Mhm.
And for that, I have none other than the only Olympic gold medalist to win with a broken freaking neck, Kurt Angle Prime. All right. Kurt Angle Prime is probably one of the best wrestlers in the world ever, in the history of ever. And I don't care what anybody else says. Um, he's got everything. So I got Kurt for that. And
Mhm.
now we're gonna move on to physics. I can't move that out the way there. Okay, we're going to physics. Look at this guy. I try.
Mhm.
Try. So, if you were to build a wrestler from the ground up, he'd look like Randy Orton. And I've always been a fan of Randy Orton. And like this is Randy Orton recently.
Mhm.
He's been around forever and he still looks amazing. He's not too big because I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm pretty sure Rich is gonna pick Brock Lesnar. And I also have to go with like what I like, what I think would be like also attractive to my wife. Like my wife's not attracted to Brock Lesnar. So like Randy's more her type than Brock is. So I went with that also. And also I really like Randy. So
I knew you were going to pick Randy, just like you knew I was going to pick Brock. We're back to the case of the flying keyboard again.
it's don't go wireless. Just don't go wireless. The
You
best
lose your cue.
way,
That's how you lose your cue.
yeah, for a long time you have to use like a pencil to
It's a good thing it
really
was a
get
Q and not like
it.
an E.
Not or well, who knows what that was for back then. All right. So now we have the promo.
Mm.
Now you're probably thinking, Jer, I know what you're gonna pick. It's obvious. It's gotta be finally The Rock. But you would be incorrect. For you see, for promo, I have chosen the American Dream. Dusty Rhodes, baby.
Hmm.
Just imagine the physique of Randy Orton, the in-ring ability of Kurt Angle, and the promo ability of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. It's a match made in heaven. Like these two Goliaths that we've created could feud for centuries. Like
Hmm.
just imagine the mic wars there. Just amazing.
Mm.
Um, but the finisher. This was difficult. I was thinking about like if I was a wrestler and like how much damage I want to take to myself doing this and like how I'd want to catch someone from anywhere. And
Hmm.
I thought the RKO is always that, but that's not what I am going to pick. What I would actually use is Moxley's finisher, the paradigm shift, because you could just catch people and it looks sick. You could do it through a table, you could do it through like literally anything,
Hmm.
and it would work. And it would just look savage, depending on who you have sell it for you.
True.
Close second would be the bulldog choke. So
Wow, heavy on Mox, huh?
I mean, that's pretty much the best parts of him for me. Is like his finishers are really good.
Hmm.
Like they're really like they're uncomfortable to watch, and like it looks like they're gonna hurt someone.
Yeah.
So. that is what I went with male wise.
All right. Do you want to open us up with the female?
Well, it's ladies' time. And this wasn't too difficult because with the other one, I had a lot of data to pull from. There's a lot of male wrestlers throughout the years, legends. I tried to put a good blend in there. But for the women, it wasn't always the same. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, for in ring ability, this may shock you. This may shock the world. I have chosen.
You can't choose the Shockmaster. He's not a female.
All right. Just
Sorry.
give me a second to delete that, and I got to go pull another one. All right. So now that we're back from the edit process, I have chosen the EST herself, Bianca Belair, probably like the best. EST for a reason. That was easy. That was easy. Um, I don't know. I really, she speaks for herself. So next for look, I've dealt deep, and this was the more fun one, I would think. And of course, this one was easy too, because of all the women in the history of professional wrestling, the one that has kept up in appearance forever and seems to be some kind of sorceress for real, I've chosen Trish Stratus. Obviously, Trish Prime I would choose, but even Trish now, like it wouldn't matter. She was, if Trish Stratus with Bianca Belair's wrestling, my God. And I'm not saying that Trish is not a great wrestler because like she's a trailblazer. I'm just saying we're trying to optimize here. We are optimizing. We're really optimizing here. So now we're gonna go with promo. Now you're probably saying, Rich, everybody, basement chair, we all know. Just put Becky Lynch there, but you'd be incorrect. Because while I enjoy Becky Lynch, I don't consider her to be the best promo, especially recently. Um, at you know, after a while, you lose a step. But Becky Lynch post punch in the face, the man, you can't beat that. You can't. But the future is now, you dickheads. And I've chosen sorry, AJ Lee.
What?
AJ Lee. The
What a
swerve has
swerve.
come. That's right. It's such a swerve. I made you think I was going for Rhea Ripley, but I just want to say you dickheads because she says that the best. But I don't know if you guys remember, but AJ Lee's really good on the microphone. Like, she's amazing. Like the way she would dress people down, it's incredible. You have to go check out her promos. So AJ Lee promo, Becky Lynch ability. By the way, the reason I said Rhea Ripley because it was between the two of them. I didn't know what to do, and I had to go back because, like I said, there's a pool, but you don't have to go as far back. Also, I recently saw her on heels, so I remembered that she's really good at promo. So there she is. Close second, Rhea Ripley would have been because I like her accent and the way she says no. It's just fun.
And the
Alrighty.
finisher for this Chimera?
The finisher for this wonderfully super attractive Chimera with freakish genetic abilities. We are going to go with Victoria's finisher. It was the Widow's Peak, I believe.
Yes.
And that's definitely going to be her finish.
Hurts the knees, hurts the neck. It's a twofer.
Maybe you could bust an implant or two.
All right. That is quite the Chimera that you have made, but now it's my turn, okay?
Oh
now,
my God.
For looks, I mean, you got to go with someone that is, like I said before, going to be intimidating, look the part, right? And I feel like of all the wrestling I've seen, I don't see anyone that really looks the part. You also want someone that looks like a superstar, right?
I know where this is going.
Do you now?
I think I do.
There is no one I've seen that truly just looks the part, like dominant and like a superstar than Jade Cargill.
Oh, wow.
She
Wow.
has the physique. She looks like she could beat me up, and I could tell you I would enjoy that.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, for promo, you're probably not going to expect this, but again, let's look at longevity and let's look at believability, right? You got to find someone that can make you believe whatever it is they're saying, regardless of what the storyline is, what the angle is, where it's coming from, no matter how wacky it may seem, they need to be invested in it. And there is no one that did that better, particularly relatively recently, than Alexa Bliss.
Oh, I was not
Okay.
expecting that.
I know.
Been a
Anytime
while.
she's been given, right, it has been a while. I mean, she's pregnant, so it'll still be a while.
Ryan.
Right.
sorry.
Uh, man. Oh, gee, we hold on 1 second. Adam! Okay. I had to. Sorry. So, like, you give her crap and she's still going to make it work because she gets herself in a zone where she believes it. And
Mm,
that is how she makes us believe it. That is the key to blurring the line between reality and fiction. That's what
true.
wrestling is. That's
That is what
what,
wrestling is.
right? Like, like
Yeah.
there's too much. Like, yeah, Mike Santana talking about feeding. Like, everyone, stop talking about you kids. Like, we know you probably got kids at home, but I don't care. Like,
Hey, he's got kids. You know.
yeah,
It's
like unless it's Christian kicking his kid out, like it's not part of the story.
Christian's amazing. Like, go ahead. We got to keep
Okay,
going
go
with
ahead, go
this.
ahead.
No, I need to hear about this lady, bro. Everything
Okay,
can wait. I don't care.
all right. And then for in-ring ability, once again, sticking to my roots. I like well-rounded, but I
Hey,
love
now.
my grappling.
Oh, let's go.
So you want someone that's she's gonna stretch you. She's gonna punish you in the ring. That woman, we know her well, Serena Deeb, the
Not
professor.
personally. Yes.
Right, the professor herself. Missed on AEW TV. I don't know what's going on, but whatever.
Also on Heels, season 2.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
And
Venus Murder or something like that.
I
Forgot
love it.
what was.
And the finish didn't go perfect with Serena Deeb, with the look of Jade Cargill with her long limbs. It's a submission.
The
It's my
stretch muffler. No.
close. No, not close actually. The finisher that would have been mine had I gone into
Oh.
wrestling, respectfully, the Regal stretch.
Oh, how very regal of you. Yeah.
So that is my Chimera female wrestler.
It's a real styles clash if they were to ever throw hands.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
So, as Jared mentioned before, who are your chimeras, male and female? Drop them down below. Let us know.
Yes, definitely looking forward to that. And like we can, we'll mention them on the show if you get them up there in time. We'll
There you
talk
go.
about it on here. Same Basement Booker time, same Basement Booker YouTube channel ish, depending on Jared's stuff.
Knife.
Yes. All right. AEW Grand Slam was this past Wednesday. And it was a good episode of Dynamite. It felt like a pay-per-view on TV at times, to its credit. However, there were a couple of issues. We're not going to do like a recap of it, but Rich Derriz, he's got something to say. This is concerning the international championship match between Rey Fenix and Mox. Mox got a concussion. Rich is going to take you through. And Rich Riz, please take it away.
Thank you. Now, nothing is confirmed as of the dirt sheets just yet. AEW, they seem to keep injuries a little quieter when they're less obvious. Someone on Twitter, X rather, says, quote, looks like Moxley may have told the ref to call an audible after the first count. So if you haven't seen, here's what happened. Phoenix hits a pile driver. I saw clips of this before I even watched the show because I watched a day late. Someone said that it looked like Mox's head actually hit the mat. And I saw it and I'm like, that's not good. So watching later on, ref 1, 2, the ref stops counting. Mox didn't move. I don't know if this person was at Arthur Ashe Stadium and maybe had a better view or whatever. My view, Mox didn't move. I'm like, that ain't good. So obviously, pile driver, possible neck injury, possible concussion. We don't know. No one in that ring of those three men is a doctor to know. Like, the only person that could sort of have a little bit of insight would be Moxley. I didn't see him say a word. I didn't see his mouth move. I didn't see anything.
I
So,
think the finish was not that. And
right.
he's like,
So I don't claim to know what the finish was. The way Phoenix was reacting, I feel like he was not scheduled to win. I don't know. But
I
before
don't
we get
think
to
he
that,
was.
so something happens. Obviously, the ref didn't count to 3 then. Phoenix picks Mox up by the neck. Awesome. Good job there, buddy. And hits another pile driver. And the ref counts to 3. Now, whether Mox called it or not, who is responsible for Moxley's health in that match besides Moxley, the referee, Rick Knox? Okay?
Okay.
Your job, Rick Knox, is to make sure that the wrestlers are not making decisions that will injure themselves. This is already a dangerous sport. We know this. We know it ain't ballet, famously. Thank you, JR, for that iconic phrase that will live forever. You have to make sure that if a wrestler says they're fine, you got to make sure they're fine. You got to do the thing where you put your fingers in their hands and they squeeze your fingers. That's a way of testing if there's a spinal injury or not. Because if there's a spinal injury, they're not going to have full strength in their fist to make a fist to squeeze your finger. That's what that is every time, and I see it happen every time. That didn't happen this time. Mox got dropped on his head, could have had a neck injury, could have had a concussion, could have had both. We don't know. We're not doctors, but we know both of those are possible. And you just let Rey Fenix pick Mox up by his neck, that we don't know whether or not it's injured, and deliver another pile driver. Literally seconds after he maybe not injured him with the first pile driver. Rick Knox, bad call by you. If someone in the back told you to tell Phoenix to do that, then it's bad on them too. Either way, Knox, you should have checked on Mox before telling Ray Fenix to hit another pile driver. Had it been the case that like Mox had to be stripped of the title just to get checked out by doctors for injury, end the match right then and there, say he can't compete. That's it. Simple. Because you know what? It works. Because if he's legit injured, then you have that to back it up. If he's not legit injured, okay, my bad. I was looking out for the wrestler doing your job. That's what you were doing your job if you call the match right then and there. I feel like this was not a good scenario. Lost in all of that. Mox, I hope you're not injured. If you are, please get well soon. I'm a big fan, as it's well known since before you were Dean Ambrose. So, never want to see an injury. Certainly never want to see a potentially career-ending injury. We haven't heard anything like I mentioned, but Mox, get well soon.
Yeah, I agree. Because I watched the documentary, The Wrestlers. It was about OVW and Al Snow and them. And you could see, like, because I was thinking, even in a place like OVW, which is
Mhm.
as it's not doesn't have the AEW budget, and it damn well doesn't have the WWE budget. But like Al Snow is in the ear of the referee, he's in the ear of the announcers,
Mhm.
so he could tell like he would tell the ref to tell the people inside what to do.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like tell them, no, 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 they'll do the thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's crazy. It's like so this what should have happened here, in my opinion, as a basement booker here. You know the deal. Not a professional, just a fan. I think you do it if you are counting and he doesn't kick out, that's the finish.
Yep.
That's it. That's how it works. There's no he well, I think Moxley twitched. Oh, is that how it works? Did you just break your cannon? Like you could just twitch. It's like, wait, hold on a second. I twitched. I didn't like what are you talking about here?
Yeah, that was terrible too.
Yeah, that's not good. It stands out for me. And
Yeah.
the whole checking on people thing,
Mhm.
when the match started, and that was that dive that Mox and Phoenix did. I don't remember
Mhm.
exactly what it was, but when Phoenix landed, he went over to Mox and he checked him.
Yeah.
They did the squeeze thing. That
Yep.
happened there.
I remember
And
that. That was overshadowed by the potential concussion or neck injury.
but I feel like that makes it a little bit worse. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
something went on there.
Yeah.
And who knows how long you like if you're concussed, you might be out on your feet, so you can't perform your part of the activity for like say a pile driver. What God forbid, what if you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's all. I think it should have been either that was the decision, or even if you did the kick thing, like it was like, oh, I think it was a twitch or whatever, you just have him try to pin him again
Yeah.
carefully.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like
happened before.
the ref and the announcers could have even just said, "Oh, the referee had a different obviously saw something I didn't." That clears it
Right.
up. Like
It's
like
better than
there's
what
a
they did.
yeah, because you're one thing that the camera will never get unless referees get a GoPro or whatever is an actual referee's view. Like
Mm,
we could have 7 cameras on a pinfall attempt, but only the referee sees what the referee can see. Everything else can kind of come close. You can sort of piece something together. But if the referee sees this, but there are no cameras pointing to that shoulder to see it, then yes, the shoulder came off the mat. It's like
yeah.
there's a if a tree falls in the forest and no well the referee's the one that's there to hear it.
Yeah.
The referee's there to tell us, if whatever, just a bunch of missed opportunities and a bunch of fail in that short period. But TK doesn't have nearly as much experience as Vince as far as calling show and taking care of his talent. I mean, you don't want to see someone learn by someone else's injuries.
Yeah. Definitely all of that could have been avoided by just counting the pin. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be having this conversation. It would be more like, yo, that's crazy. Can you believe that?
Hmm.
What a crazy title change. It's a it would have also been an unexpected thing. It's like, hold on,
Hmm.
did Moxley just lose like that? And that then you have a story later for when he comes back. Maybe
Yeah,
he's a little bit different. Maybe he's
and
a
it's
little more unhinged.
yeah, and it's not like the end result. The second pile driver. It's not like it changed what the story was and would have been afterwards
I were
versus ending
yeah,
it right after the first pile driver.
yeah.
The second
Like
pile driver
mm,
literally added nothing to the match other than potentially exacerbating an injury.
yeah, like I gotta go in doing the sign of the cross to make sure my guys are safe here, making sure everything's good. Like I don't want like an awful thing, and it'll be like, how did they not see the signs? Like that
Yeah.
could be bad for them. You got a guy who's basically talking about death jitsu, and this goes down, and like,
Hmm.
how'd you not see it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, let's be careful here. Like,
The announcers joke that a breeze goes by too hard and he bleeds.
yeah, and it doesn't even have to be about blood. Just
Hmm.
straight up the bumps it's themselves. Like you don't want any of these guys and girls to get hurt like that, you
Yeah.
know? So
The,
hopefully
the
he's good.
the old bump card.
Yeah, and that adds up. Like, in a few years, you want him to still be okay. You don't want it to be the Marty Jannetty episode of Dark Side of the Ring. You
I
know what
hope
I mean?
I hope Bryan Danielson really, really yelled at someone after that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So we're rooting for Mox. In regards to Remsburg, I've never done
Um,
that
R-
job.
Rick Knox.
Rick Knox, sorry, Remsburg. Um, Rick Knox, is Rick Knox the Young Bucks referee?
Not maybe that's I don't know.
So basically,
He's the
like,
bald one.
I've never had that job. I don't know what it's like to be surrounded by like the millions and millions or whatever fits into Arthur Ashe Stadium. Um, but you gotta, I don't know. You gotta treat it like a shoot, man.
Yeah, know your
If that's what
primary
happened, that's what
role.
happened.
Know your primary role, not your on-screen role.
Yeah. Like I guess like I'm a whip, but I would err on the side of caution. Like, look, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I had to
No,
do it.
I gotta believe that the talent really wouldn't fault you for that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully, nothing but good news. Much
Yeah.
like Santana, he also has a kid. So,
Right.
as a father, I can relate. You don't want to miss out. So that was the Rich the Riz rant. I found really no errors there, Rich. Thank you so much for technically 500 plus episodes, but number wise,
Mm.
500 when you think about it. Because, like, I've looked through it, I'm like, wait a second, some of these don't have numbers. So I guess they could be specials. So officially, episode 500 to a close. And I wanted to say a big thank you to each and every listener of the Basement Bookers podcast, past, present, future, then, now, forever, together. Checking us out. It really means a lot. It was the beginnings, the humblest of beginnings. This podcast started on an iPad,
On a
you
folding
know,
table,
on a wobbly folding table.
which I kept kicking.
I've also kicked. Um, Good times, really, really rare bad times, lost episodes, some might say, but we're still here. We'll still continue. I believe this is my most steady job, actually, if you think about it.
And worst
I,
paying.
yes, actually,
So far. So far.
I I get paid in bidding to hang out with my best friend in the whole world. None of this happens without you. Ever, nothing here. So, Rich the Riz, thank you very much. I just wanted everybody to know. So,
Thank you, bro. It's an honor and a pleasure to do this podcast with you every week. You are my best bro. Always have been, always will be. And I look forward to 500 more episodes and hopefully reporting on far fewer injuries and
zero
firings
tragedies.
and
We
worse.
want
Yeah.
zero tragedies.
Yeah,
So,
just immortality and non-firing clauses for everyone.
rah, running wild, brother.
So if you don't know by now, like we mentioned before, hit us up in the comments down below. Let us know your Chimera character that you're going to build, your Chimera wrestler, whatever you want to call it. Hit the link tree down below. It's got links to everything, all our social medias. And Jer's got a parting message.
As always and forever, the match of life is scheduled for one fall. So make it count.
Do what the man says.
For the Bookers.
I'm done.
Okay.
Right now, I'm done.
Destroyed him. Even though,
Technically South something America.
well, it's still,
Mexico? No, Mexico is part of North America.
it's
It's in the northern hemisphere entirely. Therefore, there's nothing really south about it except it being south of us.
I didn't fucking come here for geography. I didn't come
I'm
here for
correcting.
fucking... You're not going to geography me.
I'm correcting.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm
I did
correcting.
math once, and now you're trying to put geography in here? I did not come here to learn.
Listen, I can't correct at home anymore. I gotta correct somewhere, so...
Oh, so you're going to bring that shit here, though?
That's right. There you go.
Well, you better not
Not
bring
South
that
America.
to the stepladder match, brother. And I'm making my intentions here, right here on the Basement Bookers Podcast Periscope episode. I'm going to say it right now. The Royal Rumble, 29 other superstars are vying to become the heavyweight champion. Stop it with your geography, Farron Ellen. Stating it's south of us, not South America. I know globes.
The phone was blocking part of what you had said, so I couldn't
Yes,
see.
because it was strategically positioned by Rich Derez trying to interrupt me throwing my hat into the Royal Rumble match. I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble.
No, you're not.
Yes, I'm gonna get into that Royal Rumble somehow. And let me tell you something, brothers. If I'm not in the Royal Rumble, it's because Roman Reigns fears Basement Chair. He is afraid. Vince McMahon is afraid that I will throw him over the top rope. Just like everybody else. Over the top rope.
I think Vince would want you to
Over the top rope.
throw Roman out.
That kayfabe, brother.
Yeah, kayfabe. Vince would want you to throw Roman out.
Okay. But what if I'm not the corporate champ then?
So you'd have to be in with Vince.
What if at first I'm not? Because then I'll catch him when his back is turned and just over the top rope. I just like doing this. Just throw it like garbage. But I got a secret weapon.
Do you now?
There's no disqualification in a Royal Rumble match. So I'm gonna be the official entrant in the Royal Rumble. So yeah, toss them out like hot garbage. There's no disqualification in the Royal Rumble. So I'm going to bring with me the ultimate equalizer, a brick. I will bring a brick with me, and I will brick everybody in the head, and then just toss them out of the ring like hot garbage. No one's going to stop me. You thought the Big Show's KO punch was dangerous? Well, wait till you catch my brick in your teeth. You're going to need a dentist. Not even Isaac Yankem can see your mushy mouth. And I will call my brick Bricky. I'll even put it in like a sock and just swing it around and just I'll run.
It's Mr. Bricko.
I'll run around the ring, swinging the sock with a brick in it around and just running through everybody, just blah blah blah, like a helicopter.
Why?
And because everybody's taller than me, I won't hit myself in the head because it'll be above my head.
Question.
Go ahead.
Why can't anyone just catch the sock as it's?
Because
Charlie.
they're going to be getting hit in the head with my brick.
But what if they're not?
Because that's not what's scripted in the creative.
I don't think you're scripted to be in the fucking Royal Rumble.
I will be in the Royal Rumble, brother, because if they don't put me in, they're afraid. And if I'm not in the Royal Rumble, then they concede and I'm the champion. How about that? I will be the World Heavyweight Champion. I already have a belt. They just have to say, I'm the champion.
I have a belt.
You don't have anything because you still didn't win a stepladder match.
This
it's
is my
up
belt.
for grabs.
This is my belt.
It's up for grabs.
Okay, once the stepladder match begins, it's still mine until you grab
Well,
it.
you're not going to know my strategy to handle you.
It doesn't live here. It chills here.
I'm going to take my hand. I'm just going to put it on your forehead, and you're going to keep trying to run at me. You got to put your hands up like you're trying to reach at me with my hands in your face. Like, just imagine him trying to run at me with his... And that's not good. You can't do that. You have to be like this. Like the little,
But I won't.
like the little fighting Irish guy from the Notre Dame thing. That's what you're going to be like. And I'm going to reach up on my tippy toes and pull the belt down.
It would be too low.
What?
That is too low for a stepladder match. The point of it is for both competitors to need
It has to
the
be,
stepladder
it
to
has
reach
to be
it.
fair. It has to be higher than you.
And you.
No, not me.
I'm not talking about this. I'm done. I'm done.